I don't want to become this into a story, but so my experiences and samadhis have brought me to kind of this Advaita non-dual teachings without me knowing. And for the past year or months, I started develop some interest more into the actually Advaita Vedanta and hearing different teachers and going more into that. But my experiences were without names, so I couldn't really name what I was experiencing. But later, I found out that there's actually people talking about these things. And I'm Portuguese. I'm in Portugal, and for the past years, there's actually a teacher living in my country. He's very famous worldwide. Mm, and I started going to satsangs and to the ashram, and for the past years. And lately, um, I feel I want to be much more with myself and just really enjoying what comes and goes. And sometimes it's a complete bliss, and just these amazing insights come, and and then and this kind of ups and downs depending if I'm sick or this or that, the kind of fluctuations of the mood that can be observed also. But I guess my question is, but beyond that, I start developing a bit of a conflict, really, inside conflict with this idea of guru, because around this teacher particularly, there has been some people that say a few things which are not so good or guru-like. And but whenever I go, I feel this. I feel the pointings, and I feel the neutrality in me that can detach myself from all of the surrounding noise. Which, if I go into that noise, then my mind gets caught up into those. Is it true? Is it not true? It's a funny thing, this relationship between a guru and a student. It's like we want the guru to be perfect, but then
They're
a
not.
part of the mind is trying to find something to I didn't like that, kind of this sabotage thing.
Yeah.
um but
What
just
you,
listening to
yeah.
oh,
What, I mean, this is where it gets really dicey, like, does that make you like, because there is a lot of stories of, gurus and teachers that abuse their students. And that needs to be acknowledged. The teacher is imperfect, so in a way they are going to cause offense, and they are going to do sometimes immoral things. Like, it can't be, you can't be perfect. So yeah, so that is dicey. I don't know really how to talk about that. I just feel like everyone should really read and investigate cultic abuse and narcissistic abuse, so they're able to discern it in the moment and become experts on that. We should really teach it in school. And then once you've done that, once you've got good discernment, so you don't get yourself into bad situations, and everything you see in them is your own mind. So even if you've heard stories that they steal money, for example, or that they do some sort of fraud, maybe even if that's true, like you have to love the badness in them, to really take it to its truth, back to yoga. You have to find peace with the badness in them. That doesn't mean you have to do it. It doesn't mean that you don't tell the authorities if you notice it happening. It doesn't mean that you encourage other people to do it. But in your heart, you have to see the divine in their illegal or bad actions. And that's really the true meaning of guru. That doesn't mean abusing yourself or other people, but it's in your heart, seeing no difference between right and wrong or good and bad. So in your situation, you go to the ashram, if you go to the ashram and you see inappropriate things, it's good to discern that so you don't fall victim to giving over your house or something, or giving away free labor, or so you can discern that. And if somebody's speaking to you inappropriately, you have clear boundaries on a human level. In your heart, to love the guru is to love every aspect of life. And every aspect of life will be growth and destruction, pain and pleasure, birth and death will be all opposites. So to only love the guru because of their perceived goodness is a mistake. But this is where it's very dicey, because then if the guru is saying that to you, then it's like the way of them getting out of jail, It's like, I do this, you're still gonna love me, but it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that you're not the first one to call the police. It's that you have to see beyond the good and the bad. You have to see the divinity in them and in the people in the ashram when they're behaving badly or being abusive, because it's really in everything. It really is. If love and personal beingness and empty looking is all things, then it's the ugliness as well. And to truly rest in that has to be acceptance of everything in this life. And this is the difficulty of that teaching, because a lot of people see bad things in their guru and then give up. And it's not that you don't walk away, but it's that you have to still love them. That's your job, your task, to really love them. How does that feel? How does that sit for you? You can keep yourself unmuted. You don't have any feedback.
That actually feels very good. It's a very strange thing, because I sometimes my mind sabotages my experience there, but then it's just, if I just fall back into not listening, 99.9% of just the energy that is in me when I'm there, it's pure, because it's very, everything that is said there, from the students to the teacher to the whole surroundings, it's just in the name of truth. It's not like, it's not a cult. There's not a like this. I have never witnessed anything. It's just, I guess, part of my personality is very individualistic and very, I can do it myself, this type of thing. And then there's a sort of a conflict there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I've been noticing that sometimes it pulls me out of but it's almost like I have to let go of all of that and just actually be there. And but being there doesn't mean I'm enslaved by any sorts of,
Yeah.
like you said, I can have a presence with maturity, but not really be involved in anything. And
Yeah.
this is what I really like about you. You're very subtle, and then very clean, and then gentle, but very like objective. And so it was very helpful, actually, because it's something that was on, kind of biting me. And then of course I talk to people, and sometimes you hear this and that, and kind of makes this sticky kind of thing. And
Yeah. And
so it's really
it's to be realistic. Like I really don't have very many people following, or I'm not very well known. I'm not like the person I'm speaking about. And it's impossible, just from being a very small teacher, it's impossible to act ethically in every situation. It's impossible. You couldn't, it'd have to be 10 people. I mean, it's like impossible for us to do it in regular society, all of us. You know, we're always having to do things that are unethical. It's part of being human, and we try to avoid it and get other people to do it and pay. You know, like I think a lot of Europe sends their trash to Asia, and we try to hide it, like keep it, like okay, and then some people don't know that. They're like, really? And I'm like, well, what? We don't see it. Where is our trash? Like, it's like, so it's like he is going to let, sorry, they are, we're being not using names, they are going to let you down, because it's impossible for a human being to be ethical. So even if it's not in a large way, it's going to be, you know, it's impossible. You know, as a leader, you're going to be, you know, you say you have a business, you're going to be faced with impossible situations. Do you go with the group's well-being or the individual? You know, when people are treating you in a certain way, you know, how it's so difficult to be able to consider everything and to have the knowledge and the information. So they are going to let you down inevitably. And what you have to find is really seeing the guru in all things, and including good and bad, in every situation, in the dirty exhaust, in the trash, in bad behavior, everything, because everything in life is changing. And then when the gossip comes, it's like, you know, what are those minds, those external minds trying to do? You know, what are they trying to do? What are they up to? These external apparent minds, which are actually really internal, but what is their objective in that? I'm not saying don't blow things up and don't report, but in that situation, you know, why are they gossiping? What are they getting out of it?
Yes, yeah, and somehow it's funny. It's just one of these times, one of these stories. I'm an osteopath, so I see a lot of patients and people, and they are in this area, and so they know. And when one of it was so funny because one of them was actually talking not such a good story about that, but this was the same person that a week before was actually telling a story about his wife that didn't match what his wife told me in another previous appointment. So sometimes I'm the witness of just all this kind of theater of the mind, and then you tell a story which doesn't match the other one, but you actually are married, but now you're talking about someone else's life, and it's like it's like a movie, and but I don't detach myself sometimes completely of the movie, and I let myself get pulled into this movie, and then I just really wanted some kind of confirmation and support
Yeah.
from you. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. And just the last thing that I would say is, you know, we have an ashram NOT Lisa is super blessed, you know. I don't know very many ashrams in Europe. You know, it's such a way of life in India. And, you know, use it for yourself, like really use it for yourself. Like have good discernment, good boundaries, but then just really use it for yourself in whatever way it can serve.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Really lovely to meet you.